Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name's Michelle and welcome back to FAMS Flow Yoga. Today we will focus on being connected with the body and the breath. So all of our poses will be conducted seated. So make sure that you choose a chair that is safe and stable without reclining, free moving wheels, or rocking. Also, make sure that your feet are firmly planted and that your sit bones are rooted comfortably. So let's get started. With our body scan, beginning at the head, let's go ahead and relax the area surrounding the eyes and the brow, making sure there's no furrowing or frowning. And then start to soften the cheeks, making sure there's no clenching or grinding, even leaving that little cushion of space between the back teeth. Now, let's become aware of the muscles in the neck as you slowly, gently lower the chin toward the chest. Without forcing, just pausing as soon as you feel a comfortable stretch. And with the chin tucked in, slowly begin to rotate the head, sweeping the chin from shoulder to shoulder. Good, and bring the head back to neutral, leveling the chin parallel to the floor. And from here, we're going to release the right ear toward the right shoulder. Taking note of what you feel on the opposite side as we begin to lengthen the muscles and the connective tissues that support your head. And slowly return to center. And we're just going to switch sides, again, nice and easy, staying within your comfort zone. Good, and slowly return back to neutral. Now, let's begin to correct the posture. So sitting nice and tall, start to flatten the shoulder blades completely behind you, giving me that little pinch and feeling the chest opening and lifting, ready to receive that deep diaphragmatic breath. And of course, engaging the core muscles, so feeling the navel drawing in toward the spine, but also the back muscles, providing that synergistic hold. We don't want the core so engaged that it stifles the movement of your belly, which we'll need in a moment when we tap into that breath. Now begin to release the hands as you rotate your wrists, wiggle the fingers, and maybe give your hands a nice squeeze. Flex and extend the wrists as well. And then gently allow the hands to come to rest. And from here, we'll settle in, quieting the mind as you direct your gaze a little deeper inward to your breathing. Taking a moment to notice your normal natural rhythm, its pace and length, and its depth, but maybe even the ease or difficulty today. And we're going to start to tap in to the diaphragmatic breath. So inviting the mouth to close, drawing the air only in and out through the nose. Start to make that transition, but taking your time, much like you would maybe wading into the water from the beach, testing things out at first. So on the inhales, feel the abdomen distending forward. Let your rib cage expand out to the side walls. And then send your breath as high as you can, all the way to the collarbones, only to release it in reverse. So taking your time and creating this nice rhythmic flow, allowing one breath to move seamlessly into the next and back again, just like the tides rolling in and out to sea. But most importantly, embracing that calmness that comes with this deep breath, and setting your intention today on allowing this feeling to carry you from start to finish. So let's continue that quiet focus for 5 more as we prepare to begin. Now, let's start to awaken the spine with a gentle warm-up. So if you'd like, you can take your feet anywhere between hip and shoulder width so that the knees are comfortably stacked over the ankles, hands on the thighs, and we're going to create kind of this nice little wave-like action with the spine. Listening to your lower lumbar region, especially if you're taking care of that area, staying within your comfort zone, but holding on gently to the thighs and making sure that we're away from the seat back. We're going to start by leading with the right rib cage toward the right wall. Sit bones are rooted, followed by the right shoulder, and then the head. Nice. Now we're going to go in the opposite direction. So start with the rib cage, followed by the shoulder, and then the head. Now I want you to feel again the core working to help keep you stable. Just because we're leaning and swaying, we want to make sure that we're in control of that range of motion, even feeling your feet helping you out, balancing that weight. Good. Let's do 2 more in each direction, stimulating blood flow to the muscles that support the spine, but also helping to replenish that synovial fluid that cushions those areas. So go ahead and bring the spine back to neutral, sitting tall. And now we're going to focus on a little rotation of the spine. So think about a wooden spoon in a mixing bowl. And keeping the spine tall, just start to make some very slow circles. And we want to keep the diameter small to start, just so that you can stay aware of what you're feeling along the way. And if you'd like, maybe invite the eyes to close and feel that pressure kind of shift from the sit bones into the feet, and then back to the sit bones. Now just start to slowly widen the diameter of that circular movement. Again, staying within a comfortable range. And now we're going to switch the rotation. So take your time, again keeping the torso tall, which is going to engage the abdominals and those external obliques. And we want the movement slow, that you remain in control of that range of motion. Now start to narrow that diameter. And we're going to do 1 more rotation as we make our way back to a tall, neutral spine. Excellent. Let's bring our feet back into that hip width distance, and we're going to focus now on a hip hinge. And it's a very important postural alignment that helps to keep the back safe, not just in our yoga practice, but also in your activities of daily living. So I want you to imagine that your spine doesn't have that ability to undulate. We want to keep it nice and tall for this movement because we're going to add a slight forward fold. So start by sliding your hands toward the front of the thighs, right at the knees. And sitting tall, hinging only from the hips, we're going to lead with the chest and just start to fold forward. And pause as soon as you feel a little weight more into your feet, but still keeping the thighs and the sit bones rooted. And maybe even push with your hands, lengthening the spine a bit, feeling those core muscles front to back engaged. And if it's available to you on an inhale, without pushing with the hands, just start to rise right back up. Good. Now I'm going to show you what that looks like from the side. So staying where you are, feet will be flat, sitting tall, and again, take note of the position of my spine. If my back was rounded, it would look like this. A lot of pressure in the lower lumbar region, and we don't want that. So keeping the torso tall, shoulders down and back, I'm only going to hinge from the hips as I lean forward. And again, keeping the weight distributed from the sit bones into the thighs and the feet. Good, lengthening through the spine here. And on an inhale, we're going to slowly rise up, using the core from front to back. All right, So I'm going to change my orientation once again. And now we're going to add the arms. So releasing the arms down to your sides. On an inhale, we're going to send the arms up in preparation for a pose that we call sunflowers. Some traditions call it rainbow. I call it a great way to engage the core and the shoulder girdle. So we're going to add that hip hinge. On an exhale, as you release the arms down, start to hinge slightly forward and just let your hands tap the shins or the calves. Pausing here, feeling that pressure even in the four corners of the soles of your feet and through the sit bones. You shouldn't feel the chair rocking or your weight moving forward. Now let's inhale, slowly rise right back up. Nice. Let's try that again. Exhale, hinge from the hips, folding forward, release the hands to the calves, pausing here. Again, making sure the chair is stable and that you are in control of the range of motion from start to finish. Inhale, slowly rise right back up. And now we're going to connect or link one breath, one movement. Exhale, fold, hinge from the hips, lengthening those arms, and then inhale, rising right back up again. Exhale, fold, hinge from the hips. Nice. Inhale, slowly rise. Now, if you're taking care of the shoulders, remember you can adjust that range of motion. You can even bend the elbows if you need to on the top end. Maybe opening the arms out into a Y or a V instead. But let's do 4 more. And if it's comfortable, maybe even lift the chin, looking up between the hands. Torso is tall, fingertips reaching for the ceiling, and still remaining rooted through the sit bones and your feet. Two more. And as you make your way through this final round, no rush, no hurry, go ahead and pause at the top end. Keeping the torso nice and tall, we're going to exhale, just release the hands back to your lap. Nice. So you should feel some engagement in those muscles from the neck all the way down to the forearms. So as always, anytime we work a muscle, we want to relax it and stretch it as well. So go ahead and roll the shoulders toward the back. Lower the chin toward the chest and roll the shoulders forward. Good, and let's set the shoulders down and back. Excellent. From here, we're going to continue practicing our hip hinge with another yoga flow. We call it the V flow. So sitting nice and tall, sit bones firmly rooted, and again making sure you have clearance on either side of your chair, arms down to your sides, and just start to sit tall, rising away from the waist. So a big difference from just kind of leaning back. You want to send the sternum forward and keeping, again, that core active through the entire range of motion. On an inhale, we're going to reach the arms up, coming into a V position. Or if you were taking into account your torso as well, it might look like a Y to you. But reaching through both sets of fingertips toward the upper corners of your wall and ceiling. Even feeling the shoulder blades flatten on the back. Chest is open, nice deep breaths. Now on an exhale, go ahead and release that right hand down to your side, and we're just going to follow through with the left. Kind of reaching slightly overhead, again keeping both sit bones firmly rooted and some length in the torso. We don't want to just collapse into this position. You want to stay in control the entire range of motion. Even feel your feet firmly pressing into the earth, creating some counterbalance and stability. Now, on an inhale, using the strength of your core, we're going to rise right back up into that Y position, or V. Nice energetic reach, shoulders down and back. Deep breaths. Maybe invite the eyes to close and just scan the muscles, taking note of what you're feeling. Good. From here on an exhale, we're going to bring back that hip hinge. So folding forward and let the arms release down towards your calves or the shins. Pausing here for a moment, lengthening through the arms. And once again, using the strength of your core, start to push into your sit bones and your feet as you rise right back up into that V or Y. Nice extension. Giving me a little pinch of the shoulder blades, making sure the neck is still comfortable and able to move freely. And then on an exhale, go ahead and release that left arm and follow through with the right. Without leaning to the side, we want to keep those sit bones rooted and energy in the feet. Fantastic. Let's inhale. Return back into your Y. Opening through the heart. Energetic reach. And now exhale, hinge from the hips, folding forward. Again, keeping the torso tall. Spine is lengthened. Inhale, slowly rise right back up. And from here, we're going to link one breath, one movement. So on an exhale, release that right hand and follow through. Inhale back into your Y. Exhale, fold forward, hinging from the hips. Inhale, use the core to rise right back up. Exhale, release and follow through. Inhale, return back. Good. Exhale, fold forward, hinging from the hips. Inhale, rising up into that V or Y. Exhale, opposite side. Good. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up. Good. Exhale, opposite side, follow through. Let's do one more round. Inhale, back to Y. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, into your Y. Exhale, release and follow through. Inhale, back into the Y. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Last side. Back to center. Pausing here at the top. And then exhale. Release the hands to your thighs. Nice. Once again, you should feel that energy through the shoulder and the arms. So let's roll the shoulders toward the back. Lower the chin toward the chest and roll the shoulders forward. And then set the shoulders down and back. And now it's time to stretch. So, taking advantage of all the heat that we've built in the core and the shoulder girdle, let's start to lengthen those muscles. So taking that left arm, let's cross it in front of the body and just hook it with the right. Make sure the shoulders stay down and back. You can certainly hold on with your hand if you'd like. You could even place the hand on the shoulder if you prefer. But still sitting tall. And relax the shoulders away from the ears so that the neck lengthens as well. And just invite the eyes to close as you breathe into the stretch. Good, and we're going to slowly release, still working with the same arm. Go ahead and send that left hand up. We're going to bend the elbow to pat yourselves on the back for a great job today. And you can approach from the front or across the top, opening up the tricep. And remember, as you explore what we call the bind, anytime that you're holding on to a limb, it's like bridging a gap or completing a circuit, which improves the sensation and your control in the pose. So you can always change that intensity. Good, and we're going to slowly release. And now let's prepare for the opposite side. So crossing now, the right arm in front of the body, and we're going to hook it with the left, whether it's your elbow or the hand, but make sure those shoulders stay down and back as you draw the arm gently in. And once again, keeping the core strong by sitting upright, evenly distributing your weight in the sit bones, the thighs, and your feet. And of course, breathing deeply. Now, you may be familiar with a lot of these stretches, but some stretches we don't hold as long as we should. So in yoga, we really want to tap into the stretch response. So most of our time is spent anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds in a stretch. And that's going to, again, help lengthen the muscles and also improve the range of motion in the joint. So let's go ahead and slowly release, and we will send now that arm straight up, reaching for the ceiling. Bend the elbow to pat yourselves on the back, and you can approach from the front or across the top, and just providing some light pressure until you feel a comfortable stretch in the tricep. Again, if this is not appropriate for your shoulders or even this side, you can omit it. Nice deep breaths, taking note of that internal sensation. Good, and slowly release. Now from here, if you have arms on your chair or if you're able to reach down for the base of your seat, kind of gently hold on. And we want to create a little bit of resistance here from the neck through the arms. Again, if it's comfortable for you, from here we're going to release that right ear toward the right shoulder. And just ease into it, stopping as soon as you feel a comfortable amount of tension. And tapping into that deep breath, because the more relaxed you are, the more those muscles will release on their own. Good, and we'll return back to center and just switch sides. Nice and easy. Again, notice as you tap into the deep breath how the spine naturally lengthens with the breath, which adds a little bit of resistance to this stretch. Good, and returning back to neutral. Now we're going to prepare for our spinal twist. So once again, making sure that your weight is evenly distributed in both feet. If you'd like to change your foot placement or distance between them, feel free to do so. But if you're taking care of the lower lumbar region, you want to stay within a comfortable range of motion. So we're going to twist to the right. You can either place your hand on the outside of the chair or the outside of that thigh. And sitting tall, rising away from the waist, even rotating your head gently through that range of motion, and breathing into the resistance. Good. Bring the head back to neutral, and we're just going to switch sides. Take your time, sitting nice and tall and revolving from the waist, not just the shoulders. Good. And let's return back to center. Hands on the front of the thighs, and let's release some of that tension that we created just by sitting at attention using those core muscles. So start to curl the back in, almost like a cat arch, closing in that angle from the chin to the chest, helping to release some of that pressure in the back. So we're basically setting good posture aside for a moment. And then slowly begin to rise up. Nice. Actually arch the back here. Lengthening everything from the neck toward the chest. And slowly return to center. Again, to lessen some of the tension in the back, let's take a slightly wider stance with the feet roughly shoulder distance. Make sure that you have clearance, especially if your chair has arms. We're going to place the hands on the knees, and let's tap into that hip hinge once again. Slight lean forward, making sure that the pressure still remains stable. Lengthening through the spine. Good. And now just dip your left shoulder toward the center. A little mini twist here. Good. Coming back to center, and let's switch directions. And this is a great move that you can do anytime throughout your day. If you're seated at a desk, whenever you need a stretch, let's come back to center and slowly rise back up. Excellent. Let's bring our feet to center, hands on the thighs, and we're going to prepare for our final relaxation. So go ahead and soften the gaze or invite the eyes to close, and just scanning the body from head to toe, taking inventory of what you feel and how you feel at this point in your practice. Maybe even take one more deep cleansing breath and return to your normal natural rate, softening the face with a smile, honoring yourselves for taking this time out today, just for you. Now let's savor the fruits of all of your hard work as we take the next 5 breaths to rest. Good. Now let's slowly bring our awareness back to the extremities by wiggling your fingers and your toes and rotating your wrists and your ankles. And then slowly sweep the arms up and maybe slightly back, arching the spine, taking a deep breath here. And then relax the back, floating the hands to the lap. And that concludes our physical practice for today. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Stay tuned for our mindful moment. During our yoga practice, we begin to connect more deeply with breathing and learn how to link that breath with movement, creating a peaceful rhythm. And this sense of connectedness will also help you remain aware of any subtle cues that your body and mind may be communicating with you, like your energy levels, comfort, and mood. So now, please let your gaze soften or invite the eyes to close and take the next 2 minutes to quietly reflect on what connectedness means to you.